Welcome to the Real Double Dose Channel broadcast station, focused on the real reels of real life, love, growth, and of course, elevation within all levels. RDDC is exactly the place where anyone can discover more depth, love, light, and clarity within themselves, and elevate from other people's walks of life, conversations, and questions, along with deeper insights. So tune in and be a part of the Double Doses with Lexus T and RDDC.
Welcome back to the Real Double Dose Channel. This is your host, Lex, coming at you straight from the heart, where the talk is real and the vibe is always live. Had to mix that up a little bit. For any show requests, feedback, or anything under the sun, as we always say, and I will always continue to say as much as I can, is go check us out at Real Double Dose Channel at yandex.com. That's Real Double Dose Channel at yandex, yandex.com, and as well as realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com, where you can check out past guests, different synopsis we have there, just different conversations. You never know, and it's still being checked out and loved and whatever else. Don't let the post fool you. We know what's going on. Also check out realdoubledosechannel.com. That's www.realdoubledosechannel.com. And also don't forget to check out www.spiritandmindelevation.com. You can find the rerouting there and so much more. We do see you guys that are on there popping up, saying what's up from all over the board, walks of life, from countries to Germany, over to Switzerland, over to France. Always got to give hashtag love you USA. We got over here, I don't want to say boardmen or broadmen or boardmen. There's... I want to say what the name is, but I can't even say it because I'm just going to mess it up at this point. But you know what it is. They got the Montana, we got Washington, we got California, we got Florida, we got Philadelphia. We got all of them hitting up. Texas in the building, Minnesota too. Everything we love, Michigan, Illinois, all of us. Bam, bam, boom, Nueva York, New York. We got it. Okay, I'm trying to say it as best as I can, but let's not hold back too much. But if you're tuning in and have been, and we see you on there from TuneIn, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker.com, as well as iHeartRadio, iTunes, SoundCloud. Yes, we love you. Hashtag what's up, everyone. And as well as Spreaker, Podchaser, Giovanni, different ones, Google Cast, all of the above and more. I know I'm forgetting about Spotify, iHeart, and all the wonderful platforms that host us. And we love you, and we're giving this to you with the flavor. But this is a little bit of a night flare, more of a nightcap, should I say. This is kind of a evening to nightcap, and I want to spend some time with my RDDC family and my hashtag FDS Flip the Switch family, which we're also a part of, and give a shout out to hashtag HVH, Heck versus Hell, every Friday that comes out specifically to speak to the audience with you. What's up, Heck? Hopefully you're not still versus hell right now, but we got you. So let's go on to this conversation and give a little bit of extra love to it. Now, I know a lot of us have the, hey, is anyone going to do a Thanksgiving special? Like, at the end of the day, it's all about giving Thanksgiving. We did one before, and I want to say that traditionally from the cultures that I grew up in, Thanksgiving wasn't the time to be it when it comes down to what really happened for Thanksgiving to be said. But if you want to go on the whimsicalness of giving thanks, that's an everyday thing. But to sit down and have a good meal with those you love, hey, let's break some bread. But if you want to call it one of those specials for you, that's fine. But I don't know if I've had it's been a couple hundred episodes at this point, so I don't know particularly if it went. Angela could tell me that, but I want to do something that came to mind. Now, there's another conversation I'm going to have with you following up the next day. Should be tomorrow, okay, God willing. But at the same time, I want to talk to you a little bit here. So let me give you some of the double doses. R.I.P. to the other double dose, and that's my beautiful sister, Marcela. God rest your soul. And my brother Vaughn, God rest his soul, and my dad Marcelo, God rest his soul, and many, many more out of the other, my tios, my aunties, my uncles, my tias, all of them. If you're wondering what I'm saying, that is my Spanish other side culturalism of that I have. But I just want to give the shout out of love every year for all of you as well. I almost got into speaking Spanish right now. You said that? I'm just like, I'm fighting in between because, Hector and I, we really, Hector and I, we have a lot of conversations where it's like all Spanish, sometimes it's English. So my language kind of gets mixed in between, as well as my other family and friends. But I wanted to talk specifically about hashtag no regrets. Now we could put hashtag no regrets part 2. But I want to give a shout out to it. If you want to do your shout outs from IG to TikTok to everything going on, hashtag at the Mother Goddess Lexus T. You're welcome to do that as well over on our different platforms. But I want to ask you a question, and that is, how many regrets do you have accumulated, not only from the previous times, but for 2023 alone until you got here? Yeah, I had to be quiet for a couple seconds because it's something that we all seem to deal with. No regrets. And I mean that in a different kind of unclichéish form. Like, let's not go into another time frame, another day, another hour, another week where we're having those holding regrets. The ones, the ones you can't shake, that feeling. It's almost like you want to get to a point to where you're like, I don't feel like I want to have that regret anymore. Or, man, I should have did this. Even the small minuscule things. Don't get it twisted. Don't think it has to be some huge monumental thing that happened per se. Even if it's like, man, I really wish when I was in such and such town, I would have tried that out. I would have got that. I'm not talking about somebody. I'm talking about something, right? I would have tried, I go take it on the topic of food. We all relate to it. I should have tried that ice cream. I should have tried this and that. Maybe it was good for your health that you didn't. Bad. You would have had an allergic reaction. You never know. But all the while, it's a regret. Maybe I should have called my mom and told her I loved her a little bit more. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should call my boyfriend and tell him how wonderful he is. Maybe I should call my wife and tell her how phenomenal she looked that day and how she still resonates in my mind. Maybe I should have cooked that special dinner before my son went off to the boot camp. Or maybe I should have stopped over and saw the world's largest pin needle instead of just going the other direction and coming straight home. Things like that are accumulating. And they're stressful because what we do know is we're thinking, man, we know this innately. We only have a certain amount of time to enjoy ourselves on this planet or this earth, this lifetime in these bodies, regardless of how the body is we like or not. All of us are variations of the same breath that's given in. We're variations of a portrait of God and its different images and ways. I'm not saying our humanly, fleshly ways that think of hurting others or selfish behaviors or even giving a can of soup for the holidays because we think we did something wonderful. And in some retrospect, it might. But I'm saying, like, why do we live with regrets, I started thinking about this, and this conversation is, again, hashtag no regrets part 2, if you want to say that. But what is it? Why do we even accumulate them if we know we're going to have them as an afterthought? I looked at the visions that were given to me. I looked at those things. And this conversation was like, man, let's bring this up again. You can have 115 or 300 plus episodes. It's still not hard to bring up the same thing we need to reiterate and do over and over again. And I thought about the points of life. Like, why didn't I stand up when I was younger? Like, when I saw, the guy, there's this man, right? I was in Michigan at the time. And I remember I was looking out the window and I was playing with my sister's dolls or something. She was up at school. And I saw this man that would come by on his wheelchair. And I don't think he had any legs either. And he was an older man, probably in his late 60s or so, maybe even early 70s. I'm not sure. And this man was in a wheelchair going past the street. And I had seen him from time to time. And I was wondering, where is that man going? And how did his legs get cut off? And what happened to him, At that at that age, I still was thinking that. Now, mind you, I had a very rough terrain with things happening to me on a very abusive level as well from certain family members. So my mind was opened up further beyond the kid just wanting to play his toys and being left alone. But I remember he was going on his wheelchair down the street, and it was like a little lump in front of the neighbor's house. So we had a lot of gates back there. We didn't have a gate on our fencing around our yard, of course, but the other ones did. And I was thinking, man, like, I wanted to go follow him and see where he was going, but I knew I would get in trouble if I left the house without permission. And plus, it would spook me, He still was kind of like that grumpy old looking man to me, so I was okay. But then one time he was coming down the street. I think it was coming towards like the other opposite of the end block, and there was kind of a little bit of a steep going up the hill. So I think his wheelchair he lost control of it or something, and he started going down this little hillside of our street, and it's like he like put his hand up by the gate or something to stop. And all of a sudden, like, he fell out of his wheelchair. Sorry, I couldn't get the name. the wheelchair. And I was like, ooh, whoa, what happened? I'm like, I tell my mom, about what if she gets hurt? I don't know this person. I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. And she was busy cooking and doing something else too. So I was like, I don't know. But ultimately, when I saw him fall, I felt so bad. And I couldn't just get it out my chest. I just was like, man, I really want to help him. And then I think he had like a colostomy bag. If I'm not mistaken, that's what the name was. I know it was like a urine bag or something he had, because I remember it spilled all over the ground. And he worked himself up to get up, and someone from across the street with their dog came over to help him up and get in the bag. But he just looked so tore up off of that fall. And I still live with that regret right now. That's what I'm saying. Like, as an adult, as a female, I look at that like, man, why didn't I try to ask him, did he need help? And I could have had the variations of that. But I was like, why, man, I really feel bad I didn't help him get off the ground, Maybe he must have got embarrassed from having his bag of urine opened up. I wish I could have been there to give him a napkin. Like, my heart thought that way back then. Even the times, where I would sit there and see things happen. I've seen different things that are brutal, everyone. Brutal. And it's almost like a movie playing out in front of my head. And I don't think I was too afraid to speak of it happening to me, but everything was so spiritually tainted, I'll say it that way, in front of me, that I was like, is this really the way the world is? But why didn't I stop it? There's a lot of things I could say that should be on air and shouldn't be, but I don't want any of us to live with those regrets going forward. That's what I mean to say. And it's a little bit different, but I told the rest of my heart that I wouldn't be. We've had different things given to us, and we always ask for reconfirmation of those things. Is it true? Am I dreaming it? Is it just distorted? But it's really true. It's something that's painted. Anything, and I learned that from Callie too. I cannot wait for the Illumination book to come out so you can see some really good depth and kind of connect with me on a deeper scale too, where my mind's just on this paper. My mind. Not any editors coming in, adding in their segments, completely raw, Lex, boom. Okay. The Gabby Flair, we got it. But that feeling, and forgive my voice, it's a little bit been dry. I don't know what's going on. Maybe because I just got off a 2-hour call. It's probably a little messed up, but it's not towards being like that. You need to see all sides of it. It comes from the point, though, of always being unprepared for the things that we're already prepared for. It doesn't make sense why we choose that option for a moment. I think most of the time, if you can think about it, do you, and this is for yourself, maybe you don't have to agree with me, but do you leave most situations saying, man, I wish I could have? Because that's still a regret. Like, I wish I could have, or I should have picked the green instead of the red. Man, I could have just put that in my cart, put it in my cart. I should have got that extra shampoo, but do I regret? Everything can become a regret. And before we know it, it's so heavy and it's so stacked up on us. We have nothing but a full list of why didn't I's and I should have, and can I do it again? And it seems like if we do get the chance, or we do get the chance to do it again, it seems like we still don't feel the same way all the way, because it's like, that was the moment that passed. It was a lesson learned. And if we do it again and we grab the situation, we're like, okay, cool. But it doesn't feel as super gratifying as it would have the first time. So I just wanted to give this message out. It's short, sweet, simple. But I wanted to give this out and say, hashtag don't live with regrets. No regrets. No regrets. No feelings of animosity. No blank checks written with no zeros put behind them. From this point forward, I want all of us to move on the things that come to us freely and naturally. Give it the birthing that it has. And the conversation I was having before I got on here that made my voice kind of flatline a little bit, but you girls here, is being able to say, man, we've been planting and rerooting and rerouting the seed. We've been planting some that sprouted and we get a little bit of a harvest. We've been planting and rerooting and planting and rerooting and second guessing and regretting. But can't we just leave it in the ground to grow? Can't we just nurture it where it is? So I want to say this particularly for the goals that you have ahead of you and the things that you have to do. And it doesn't have to always be financial, but there's always an abundance factor that has to do with it, whether it be better parenting, better siblingship, whether it be better employee, career, or entrepreneur, or inventor, homemaker, or cook, whatever it might be. Don't be afraid to add that extra sprinkle of seasoning or pepper. Don't be afraid to, do that extra paint job on the car that you want to do. Don't be afraid to walk forward and make whatever you do the best Pilates class you've ever had. Don't be negligent. Do not be negligent of all the things that you are and more. Don't be hesitant on telling yourself that you have it in the bag. Don't be afraid to walk into that interview and say, man, I'm the best that you'll ever have working at this place, because I know that I have the integrity and love that no one else has and carries for this particular position. You want me to be on here because I desire to be here, and I'm going to do the best I can. And even if it hits the ball rolling or not, you got to keep going. The regret is giving up before the seed can start growing. The regret is digging up the seed as you planted and not allowing it to grow at all. Hashtag, I have no regret. That's what I want this episode to be called. Hashtag, live with no regrets. I know, I just changed it twice. I have no regrets. But still, you get the gist of it. Hashtag, we go when it's ended, we know what the name is. But we're giving that. Hashtag, live with no regrets. Okay? However small they are. Give that love and that factor. Man, I know I should have hugged my kid a little bit more. I know I should have given my niece and nephew a little hug. I knew I should have looked into their adoption. I know I should have did some foster care. I knew I should have picked that puppy up and gave him a bath or just offered him some food. I knew that homeless man was hungry, but I thought he was going to buy liquor or she was going to get high, and I could at least offered her a sandwich. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Listen to your gut instinct first and foremost, okay? That's a disclaimer we have to give people who don't want to take accountability for common sense. But common sense is not so common. What I'm saying is, it's better to move forward knowing, growing, feeling that you're doing all that you can in that moment and don't have anything that you hold back. Hashtag, live with no regrets, living with no regrets, live without regrets. Because if you know that you're giving all that you can and all that you will be moving forward, there's nothing in the world that you have to think twice about. Well, I could have. No, you did the best that you could at that moment, and you know you did. That's what you have in the bag. Tú sabes, right? You know that. Don't ever let that second guess you again. And keep yourself in line to where you're not allowing 20 or 30 different things to bombard you. You're not putting your head with these heavy, crazy, negative movies or conversations of gossip and stupid comments and whatever else. Then you'll know the clarity that comes to you that God seeks to give you. You'll know that definition of finding more in yourself than finding and running behind a relationship that's already surpassed you, or that's something that needs to be given to it. We get bored with the consistency of ourselves, not giving ourselves consistency. Don't expect something else from someone else if you're not willing to give your all. And don't live without love. I had said that when my sister had passed away. I think it was later on, maybe even April 2018 or even in the early part of May. I was still so numb. But the whole point is don't have that. And us who have lost tremendously. I mean, I probably had about 12 funerals, maybe even 12 funerals or so, I'd say, in the last 7 years or so. It's just, you get numb to it, but you still think about, what if I didn't? Even when I go to the store. So this is what I want to leave you with. I know it might be a little bit tingent. I don't know how to say it, but it's something that was given to me to give you right now. And it's after 7 p.m. So typically I try to get to you guys in the morning or do that stuff right there where my fresh clarity is brewing, or, the kind of afternoon. But right now it's something that I had to give you, and I wanted to make sure you had it. You deserve it. And I want you to hashtag live with no regrets, because regrets don't seek to live with you. Matter of fact, they thrive when they're there, but they don't like to be stacked up. They're never supposed to be there. One regret is supposed to be there to let you know, stop having so many of me. Stop gaining so much of me. If I'm going to be one, let one, but don't let it dwell and heavy you down and hold you down. And don't become a collector of them. Hashtag live with no regrets. Just like the fact that you're here right now listening to this and breathing, there was no regrets in making you whole. No regrets in bringing you here. No regrets from anybody. I don't care if you're adopted, if you're found on the side of a road, if your parents said they hate you, if you can't love yourself. You were not a mistake, and you are not a regret. But the only thing that will be a regret upon your life is for the fact that you live with so many of them and you wouldn't push the barriers that never existed in the first place. That's exactly what you need to do. So I'm going to give it to you hard next time. I'm going to give you a little bit more in there where my voice is not so drawn out with the flat line. But I wanted to give you that. So remember to be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of that amazing, beautiful spirit that's always within you and calling to you, and get your connectivity straight with what you have to do, and stay streamlined, aligned if you can to where you need to tap into the source within the self that's always waiting for you. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to let this go right now, but check us out again, and always reach out to us at Real Double Dose Channel at yandex.com, yandex.com. And thank you for listening to all the platforms. Don't forget about the Think and Grow Rich webinar and different ones that we have. Are the links provided on SoundCloud or the Blogspot, or even, I'm not sure. I think the website has different ones on there too. You can click around, but check it out. Check out some different stuff we have going on. We're going to be having our Soul Ties Entanglements conversations and the True Seekers Mastermind Alliance. And that's going to be conversations going from everything and beyond, from the Book of Enoch to the Bible to uncovering things of the Anunnaki, the angels of the Bible, everything, even out here where people want to say the myths of different things, from the Da Vinci Code to some theories, not saying Bigfoot, but just some things going on to correlate the reasonings and stuff behind there. But just listen out and look out for the names we have and our special wonderful guests that are going to be folding out and coming out as soon as when we get a chance to have a roster of which ones are going to be hand selected with their wonderful gifts they want to bring forward to the RDDC channel, to all of you who are listening. So we plan on expanding more, and we're going to be dropping the other link to our YouTube channel that we've been building out slowly, but it's different conversations for you to see us face to face, moving around with you more and the things that come about. So remember, we love you. You're amazing. We'll see you on the flip side. Hashtag live with no regrets. And we'll be back with you very, very, very soon.